Hello, video games be crazy. Have you ever been playing a video game and thought, what the hell is going on here? Yeah, me too. Video games be crazy and mysterious. And here's a whole bunch of disturbing what the fuck mysteries from video games. Now there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the world of Animal Crossing. To be expected, a small town full of eccentric animals whose main goal in life seems to be chilling and goofing off. Also, you've got ghosts and a cat with no face, and a town whose economy, infrastructure, and new developments hinges entirely on the sale of sea bass caught by one single villager. It's all good fun though, and on the plus side, the mortgages are highly competitive with extremely lenient repayment schemes. And if you get tired from all the community betterment, you can take a break and have a coffee. Oh, one thing though, upon ordering your coffee, you might be faced with a horrifying proposition. The barista, Brewster, a pigeon, might ask you if you would like a splash of pigeon milk in your coffee. Now, two things spring to mind. Firstly, what the hell? And secondly, what's going on? These responses actually differ from the ones you get given in the game. You can only reply, yes please, or more appropriately, you know. I don't want no pigeon milk. It sounds like some kind of special additive reserved for horrible customers, but you wouldn't tell them about it. So what's going on? Is pigeon milk just a name? Like tiger bread or a lion bar? Because that's fine. Or is it like crop milk? A special secretion found only to come from pigeons, penguins and flamingos, regurgitated into the mouths of their hatchlings. Because if it's that, then we're back onto what the actual fudge again. According to Wikipedia, crop milk is a semi-solid substance, somewhat like pale yellow cottage cheese. So that's grim. No, I don't want that in my coffee, thanks. Also, I'm no lactation-tician, but lumps of regurgitated pigeon milk in your drink doesn't sound like it would be good for you. Maybe it's just the developers deeping it with the ethics of what animals are acceptable to eat and which aren't. Animal Crossing is nuanced like that, it's a very cerebral game. Like, say if the coffee shop proprietor hadn't been a pigeon, say it was Tipper the cow, and she asked you if you wanted cow's milk in your coffee. You probably wouldn't think too much of it. But what if it was Pee-wee, and the game asked you if you wanted some Pee-wee milk from a gorilla? Well, you'd probably projectile spuke a chunker. She's loving it though. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with Brewster and his mysterious pigeon milk, but I am horrified and appalled. One of video games' biggest mysteries resides inside one of the biggest video games, Grand Theft Auto V. And I'm not talking about the mystery of why GTA picked the same font as The Price is Right. No, I'm talking about the infamous Mount Chiliad mystery. The mystery stems from a mural atop the highest mountain in GTA 5, where a depiction of the mountain can be seen along with various symbols. Jetpack, UFOs, egg, and then the well-known saying, come back here when your story is complete. It's a tantalising teaser, and over 10 years since the game's initial release, the mystery remains unsolved still. Or solved? Depends on who you talk to. If you get 100% completion, you can actually see some UFOs flying around. I'm not sure about the egg and the jetpack though, but that's nothing, because for me, the most bewildering and frankly distressing mystery in GTA 5 is the fact that Michael, the bloke that has got a double garage and a gated driveway, always parks his car on the street. The fuck is that about? Look, the driveway can fit 2 stolen trucks and a police squad car. Uh-oh. I don't know what Michael is thinking. He must know how badly the people drive in this city. My theory is it's because the GTA creators, the Hauser brothers, come from London, where off-road parking doesn't really exist, so they just park on the side of the road out of habit. I don't know. Next, we meet the king of the Iron Fisters, Tekken, where fist meets face. A beloved beat-em-up, 8 mainline entries and a couple of tag tournaments, and a roster of regulars ready to rumble. They're an eclectic bunch of fighters. You've got Evil Grandad, Hong Kong Detective, Mexican Wrestling Cat, Man Robot, Girl Robot, a bear, and you've got whatever Yoshimitsu is. Because actually, what the frig is Yoshimitsu? Is he Samurai Skellington? Ronin versus Predator? Some kind of Insecticon robot? He started off looking like a semi-regular ninja. Suit of armour, Oni mask, on a horse throwing cash at poor people like a mad lad. Then he had a robot arm which he used to murder a helicopter and rescue the love of his life. And then after that he sort of became a wild card for the designers with no holdover features whatsoever, getting more freaky looking with every instalment. So is he a dude in a costume or what's going on? To help me get to the bottom of this mystery, I've consulted the manuals of every Tekken game. Let me read them aloud for this video. A ninja from space. Yoshimitsu is the leader of the International Thieves Guild known as the Manji Party, with a perpetual engine powering his artificial arm. As the leader of the Manji Party, Yoshimitsu dedicated himself to providing food for political refugees around the world. Okay. Yoshimitsu became fully aware of the enchanted Yoshimitsu's rapid descent into disorder while pursuing Brian Fury. Uh-oh. It's descented into madness. Oh, forget it. He's a space ninja. That's it. Draw a line under that. It would only really matter if you were going to make a movie out of it. And that's never been done. You hear me? Never. Now, one game that raises many a question is the Resident Evil. Questions like, why does series naughty man and bullet time devotee Albert Wesker wear sunglasses at night and indoors at night, and while doing science with the boys? Also, why did he choose this as his last word in the original game?
Premature.
So, in the freaky mansion from the original, the player can find the famous diary of Itchy Tasty, and inside is an entry about feeding live pigs to a new monster, which apparently looks like a gorilla without any skin. The fuck is this a reference to? I don't remember any skinless gorillas in Resident Evil. Do you? The closest thing that resembles a gorilla from Umbrella's grotesque bestiary is the Hunter, but based on the Hunter's appearance, the diary should read more like, Dear Diary, today I had to feed a new monster. It was green and scaly and like a cross between a crocodile and Brock Lesnar. I don't know, maybe the diarist was just too itchy and he got confused. But either way, skinless gorilla or scaly hench frog monster, what the fuck? Because a video game mystery that's mysteryfied my mind since 1996 is what in the holy fart were Umbrella up to? Making biological weapons to sell to governments, sure. But like, is the Hunter a finished product? What military is going to want these fugly devils? Come on, bolster your ranks with these hideous bloodthirsty monsters. You definitely won't look like the bad guys with these abominations on your side. And what about the 8-foot albino chap with his heart on the outside? Is he good to go? Once you pop a trench coat on him first, obviously. I mean, you can't go into battle without his hat and raincoat. I don't know, it seems like these bioweapons could use a bit more finessing first to make them look a little bit less like horrific monsters. You know, I know there's a lot of scumbag nations out there, but I'm not sure how many would buy legions of horrible alligator men. Maybe they would. No politics! Here's another flabbergasting mystery. Why the frig does Capcom keep using director Paul W.S. Anderson to make their movies? 6 abominable Resident Evil movies and 1 appalling Monster Hunter movie, all starring his wife, Mila Jovovich, whose acting is so wooden she would have made a great Treebeard. Why do Capcom keep using this guy? Is it because he writes Paul really small on his business card to make it look like he's Wes Anderson? I don't know, maybe he's got a really good rating on Fiverr. Chapter 5. The fuck is that sound in Stardew Valley? So you might think Stardew Valley is all pixelated pastoral pleasance, which it is indeed. For the most part it's just beaches and hoes and brewing your own beer. But it's also a game that's chock full to the tits with sinister mysteries. Developer Eric Baroni won countless Employee of the Month awards for his work on Stardew Valley, and over the course of the game's lifecycle, he added a lot of secrets and intriguing questlines for players to follow. From the disturbing sequence of events that can occur if you turn your children into doves and banish them at the dark shrine of selfishness, to the creepy capsule that suddenly shows up on your farm one day, full of green liquid and a moving fleshy blob that days later appears empty and broken. I mean, what's that about? But that's just to name a couple. This game's got more question marks than the contents of the Riddler's Odd sock drawer. Baroni seems to have a sadistic desire to make me spend all my free time looking at Stardew wikis trying to figure out what the actual piss is going on. But there's no greater enigma for me than the very first one I encountered in the game back when it released. One that's been disturbing me for 8 years now. And not why is there a giant tree growing through my house, but no, I'm talking about this sound. What the fuck is that sound? Where's it coming from? What does it mean? You only hear it on rainy days. It's a spooky wailing. Could that be it? A spooky wail? Kind of sounds like a whale song. But then why only when it's raining? Because everyone knows whales only come out on clear days so that the sun shines through their blowholes and charges their iPods and stuff. I've read that some players, I finished talking about whales now by the way, I've read that some players say it's the sound of the wizard in his tower sobbing over his ex-wife, but I've not seen anything to back that up. Could it be Krobus, the friendly sewer monster? Is that the sound of my shadow people need me? I don't know, man. It's weird and spooky and it freaks me out. I'll just be going about my business, having a wonderful life, harvesting my turnips, strolling in the rain, sipping on a full pint that Pam found in a drawer and gave to me, and then suddenly there's a ghost. Or what? A malevolent spirit? Something not dead which can eternal lie that even death may die? Am I to be murdered in my bed tonight, Eric? So come on, Eric Baroni. Don't be a jabroni. Tell me who's doing the spooky moany, and I'll buy you a pony. Moving on. Ghost of Tsushima is a Kurosawa wet dream. It's so bloody samurai that if you boot the game up and fail to kill a Mongolian, you must perform seppuku. Really though, the deeply considered and respectful portrayal of Genku period Japan and how the game depicted its culture and heritage was truly remarkable, as was the gorgeous presentation of the island of Tsushima itself. The people of Tsushima in real life were so impressed with the game's attention to detail that they made the developers honorary samurai and decreed that any lethal strike to a Mongol with a katana blade would be found within the confines of the law. None of that's true. What is true is that Tsushima Mayor Hiroki Hitakatsu awarded game director Nate Fox and creative director Jason Connell with the appointment of tourism ambassadors for the city of Tsushima in Nagasaki, for spreading the name and history of Tsushima to the whole world in such a wonderful way. The game is so authentically Japanese that the developers now have honorary parking spaces outside Tsushima City Hall. This game is a love letter to Japan. Haikus?
Ever unbending.
Check. Flute? Check. Hot springs? Cheek. But for such a lush and idyllic portrayal of rural Japan, I was left wondering, where are all the koi carp? I checked every body of water on Tsushima, and I couldn't believe it. Not one single koi. It's the most Japanese thing there is, besides Mount Fuji and manga motion lines and vending machines, and cherry blossoms, which aren't in the game either, but I'm sure they would have been had the game been set in spring and not in the autumn. So instead, there's fluttering leaves instead of petals, but no koi carp. Maybe it's because fish are dickheads to animate, but then there's frogs. Frogs running hog wild all over the place, free as a bird. Hey fellas, catch any koi carp? No? Well, lots of luck! Anyway, good game but distressingly mysterious lack of koi. And if you've seen a koi in Ghost of Tsushima, please let me know by calling my koi hotline on 0181 811 8181.
0181 811 8181.
Super Mario Bros. For the Nintendo Entertainment System. The classic video game that brought us those iconic pipes of green and helped popularise the thick black moustache in the 80s. But here's the mystery. No one knows what day that shit released in North America. It released in Japan on September 13th, 1985, and then released in the US later, but no one seems to know exactly when that was. Nintendo has stated that the game released in the US on the 18th of October, the same day the NES itself was launched. But many dispute that, stating that Mario Bros. Wasn't a launch title for the NES in the US, and that the cartridge wasn't bundled in until the following year. Loads of people have said that. Gaming historians, journalists, 2 scientists, and a private detective. Not to mention the buttload of 80s eyewitnesses with boots on the ground in Radio Shacks up and down the country on launch day who simply say Mario Brothers wasn't there. So if October 18th, 1985 is when it wasn't, how about when it were? Well, no twat knows. But why does it matter? To know what date a fruity little jumping game was birthed unto the world one time. Well, it's a laugh, innit? I like remembering when games came out. Reminiscing about queuing for 4 hours in the freezing piss for the midnight launch of Anthem. Good times. Here's some famous release dates for you. Skyrim, Insect Legs 11, 11. Animal Crossing New Horizons and Doom Eternal both released on the 20th of March 2020, which was a nice coinky-dink and reminded us all that games are different and stuff, and all forms of interactive entertainment should be celebrated, be it whether you're wiping out demons or wiping out the local butterfly population. And Super Mario Bros. Is 40 years old next year, and no one knows what day to send a happy birthday text message to Nintendo. It's kind of like how no one knows Jack Daniel's birthday, so they just celebrate by drinking whiskey constantly all year round. That was Dad's excuse anyway. Speaking of Dad, where has he got to with that milk? I hope he doesn't come back with pigeon milk. He's definitely coming back. Anywho, those were some disturbing mysteries from video games that have been living rent-free for years inside my bum. But this was all just a bit of fun. Please don't freak out. Obviously, I don't care that there aren't any koi carp in Ghost of Tsushima. It's a bit odd though, gotta admit. If you can't admit, then you must acquit. But I don't have anything better to think about, so that's why this garbage occupies a large portion of my brain house. And is gliding faster than driving in Mario Kart 8? Do you know? I'm gonna go and look into that. I'll catch you later.